About 25 years ago, I made my first trip to Indiana. On the plane, I remember devouring Bob Payton's classic book, Philanthropy, Voluntary Action for the Public Good. During that visit, I fell in love with what became the Indiana University Lilly Family School of Philanthropy. As you have experienced, the Lilly Family School's a very special place. I know, indeed, how wonderful your professors are. I was fortunate to take classes with Professor Paulberg and even have Professor Freeman as a student in one of the first classes I taught. And I've stayed at Professor Burlingame's house more times than I can count. But Professor Burlingame may be happy that I'm coming to you today from my dining room because I once created a minor flood on the upper floor of his house. I'm still sorry about that, Dwight. Today, I am fortunate to serve as the director of the Do-Good Institute at the University of Maryland. And I want to thank Dean Pasek for the opportunity to share this video with you. Your graduation from the Lilly Family School comes at one of the most important moments in the history of philanthropy. While you were studying at Indiana University, a generosity crisis fell over the United States. Americans were donating and volunteering at the lowest rates of the 21st century, just before COVID-19 hit. But today, you are graduating in a world where there is an incredible opportunity for a renewal of philanthropy. Dramatic, anecdotal evidence suggests there are great spikes in the charitable behaviors of Americans since the onset of COVID-19. Just the other day, I was spending time with a group of 20-year-olds who had created a new nonprofit organization in New York City that provided contactless and free delivery of groceries and medicine for older adults and at-risk individuals. Within the first few weeks of their creation, they had recruited over 10,000 volunteers and done thousands of deliveries. Called Perfect Strangers, the organization is expanding rapidly, operating now in places such as Boston, San Francisco, and my home of Washington, D.C. Similarly, students at the Lilly Family School and across your campus immediately stepped up and created Indy COVID Relief, a new social media campaign with timely information on topics such as new job opportunities and food drives. The student group quickly acquired many followers, and Rachel Surridge, one of the student founders, who is graduating this month, said, "As the pandemic escalated, we were all looking for ways to help our community and offset some of the impact." The Indy COVID Relief Group exemplifies how the current crisis is leading more individuals to want to do good now. Surges in generosity were also happening in past crises, such as 9/11 and Hurricane Katrina, but those changes ultimately fizzled out. We missed the opportunity to create a new era of philanthropy earlier in this century. As individuals who care deeply about philanthropy, it is now our collective challenge to ensure that we do not repeat the history with COVID-19. In thinking about how we will surmount this challenge and all the others that we are facing, I gain inspiration from a friend who recently lost her mother, Irene. Just after she died, she shared with me a video of Irene that blew me away. In the video, Irene talks about how she lost her entire family to the Holocaust, but she also emphasizes numerous times how lucky her life has been. She had survived great atrocities. She had immigrated to the U.S., and she was so proud of how her children and her grandchildren had devoted so much of their life to helping others. The optimism and resilience exhibited by Irene leads to efforts such as Indie COVID Relief and Perfect Strangers. With a similar level of optimism about the future, Mr. Payton and the other founders of the country's first school of philanthropy knew that philanthropy could be taught and grown exponentially through education. As the newest graduates of the school, you've all learned that philanthropy is not easy to do well, but it's worth the struggle. If we take up the challenge of harnessing people's greater desire to do good now in sustainable ways, we can make the 2020s the time when we built the foundation for a new age of philanthropy that brought more meaning to people's lives while transforming our communities. You are the key to unlocking that change, and I want to thank you for your commitment to changing the world for good every day. And so I want to close by saying that the Grimm family, with my wife Laura behind the camera and my daughter Astrid, say to you and your families, congratulations!